Namaste friends. A lot of friends asked me to revisit my prediction that Yogi Adityanath ji will be re-elected as the Chief Minister of UP state and see if there is any danger to his position, because there were some defections from his party to the opposition party. And also at that time I only had Yogi ji's birth chart, birth data. I didn't have Sri Akhilesh Singh Yadav ji's birth data. The one that was in the public domain, the standard date of birth that is in Wikipedia, the chart based on that did not add up for me, just like in the case of Yogi ji's chart. So I received a birth data with a different date of birth from an astrologer friend, and it does seem to explain what I know about him well. I'm not 100% sure that this is the right chart, but it does explain the things that I know about him. So I'm accepting that chart, and based on that chart I took a fresh look. I compared Sri Akhilesh Singh Yadav ji's chart and Sri Yogi Adityanath ji's chart. One thing I want to say is Sri Akhilesh Singh Yadav is a capable and competent political leader. He is not like Rahul Gandhi. He'll be a formidable opponent, and he will be in politics for a while, for a long time, and he'll be a formidable opponent to Yogi Adityanath and whoever else may come in his place. So he's a strong leader. He's an eloquent leader. He knows how to conduct business, how to conduct his political career. He's a capable leader, and he can be diplomatic at times, and he can be ruthless at times. He can be cold and calculated at times, but he's a capable leader. However, he has a decent time running now, but the combinations in Sri Yogi Adityanath ji's chart trump the combinations in Akhilesh Singh Yadav ji's chart. So what I predicted earlier, I still stand by that. It will be a little difficult, but Yogi Adityanath ji will prevail in this election, in the state elections of Uttar Pradesh state, and he will be re-elected as the Chief Minister of Uttar Pradesh state. And Akhilesh Singh Yadav ji will not fall completely flat, but he doesn't have enough fortune to become the Chief Minister. So my expectation is that he will be elected as MLA, and he'll be the main opposition leader, but he will not be the Chief Minister. Yogi Adityanath will remain the Chief Minister of Uttar Pradesh state after this election. Now I will go through the astrological analysis. Now let us look at the astrological analysis behind some of my conclusions shared earlier. And those who are not interested in technical aspects of astrology and only want predictions can drop out now. I shared the predictions earlier. Now it's going to be technical discussion on astrology. So let's look at the data. The birth data that I use for Sri Akhilesh Singh Yadav is this: 1972 October 24, 5:59 AM, Etawah, India. These are the longitude and latitude. And just like in the case of Yogi Adityanath ji's chart, the date of birth given in Wikipedia does not match the horoscope. This data I got from an astrologer friend. I'm not 100% sure that this is correct, but this does explain things that I know about him. I don't honestly know a lot about Sri Akhilesh Singh Yadav, but whatever I know from the public domain is fitting very well with this data. So I have accepted this data. So this is the data that I am using for Sri Akhilesh ji. First let us look at the chart in general. Let's look at the Rasi chart. You see that Lagna is Libra. In general, Libra Lagna people are very diplomatic, balanced, and they have good behavior. They can behave well behaved, well groomed, well cultured, etc. And Mercury, even though you may by the way, Sun and Mars are in first house. If you look at the Bhava Chakra, Sun and Mars are in debilitated Sun, as well as Mars in a mercurial sign are in Lagna. So debilitated Sun will give some irritable, authoritative kind of attitude, but given that this is Libra Lagna, he may do a good job hiding it, but there will be times when he will show his irritability. So that is basically given by debilitated Sun. And Mars in a Mercurian sign in first house will make him very aggressive, but at the same time calculated aggression. He He can analyze and he can come up with the right amount of aggression. That is what Mars gives. And Mercury is actually in the second house. So Mercury in a Venusian sign in the second house of speech will make him pretty eloquent. So I haven't really heard his speeches, but he is likely to be an eloquent and articulate speaker. And one thing I must say at the onset, this chart is not really like Rahul Gandhi's chart. Rahul Gandhi, I said in a previous video, is not really leadership material. If he was not Indira Gandhi's grandson, he would not really, be in politics for such a long time. He will not survive politics for such a long time. He just happens to be born with a silver spoon in mouth, and that's why he's surviving for such a long time. And this guy, this person, Sri Akhilesh ji, he's actually a pretty capable leader. He's not really, he's pretty eloquent, and also we'll see the Samsa later. He's not like Rahul Gandhi. He's not incompetent. He's actually a very formidable opponent, astrologically speaking. And I will leave out the rest of the astrological factors. Let's look at the Navamsha. If you look at the Navamsha chart, the chart of your dharma as well as the fortune that you are born with, the luck from the previous lives, we can see that Lagna is Libra again, and the ninth house is very strong. Ninth Lord Mercury is in own house. Let us see if he is in the same house in Bhava Chakra. Okay, so he is ninth Lord Mercury is in ninth house, so that is really powerful. And also there is a yoga between Lagna Lord Venus and him. Actually, there are a lot of yogas on the ninth house axis. So this is a very fortunate chart. As a matter of fact, after he was born, his father really rose. He became the leader of, I think the party was called Lokdal or something. He was previously in politics already, and he had some electoral success, but really after his son was born, he really rose. So he was very lucky for his father. This is a very fortunate chart. And if you look at the Dasyamsha, this is really an impressive Dasyamsha. So the thing is, unlike Rahul Gandhi, this guy may actually come to power in future. Whereas in Rahul Gandhi's case, I don't really see any considerable power, political power in future. But this is actually a formidable opponent astrologically. So look at the Dasyamsha chart. It has Scorpio Lagna. So when it comes to his political career, he can be very cool, calculated and vindictive, very aggressive, because those are the qualities of Scorpio, and there is a hidden aggression to him. And if you look at the Lagna Lord, though debilitated, he is in the ninth house of fortune. So he is very practical. He is a very practical and cold and calculating person when it comes to his career. And Saturn, the third lord, is in own house. Saturn is very strong. So he is basically third lord strength, as well as sun being in the third house in Bhava Chakra, shows somebody who has initiative. He can be bold and aggressive when needed in his career. Oh, by the way, you can see this Shani Chandra combination. So fourth lord Saturn and the ninth lord Moon are together. Actually, in longitudes they are very close. Moon is at 21 degree and Saturn is also at 21 degree. They are within half degree. So this combination can basically, one of the things it can show is the third lord Saturn being with the ninth lord Moon, and this inimical conjunction can show that he causes some sadness to his father with his initiative. As a matter of fact, he did politics against his own son. He got him out of power and he ascended to power, and his father was not happy. He did not want to give up the throne at that time. So anyways, and if you look at the fifth house of power, it contains the Lagna Lord Ketu. He is very well placed in Meena. Meena is a good sign for Ketu. And the fifth Lord Jupiter is in own sign. And house-wise he is in the sixth house, but he is in own sign. So fifth house is very strong, and the fifth Lord is very strong. So this is really a powerful chart. The one negative thing is the 8th Lord Mercury, a functional malefic for Scorpio Lagna, he's in the 10th house, house-wise. You may think that he's in Cancer. He's in an inimical sign, but he is in the 10th house. So 10th house is afflicted. Also the Shani Chandra combination aspects the 10th house. So there are some setbacks he has to face in his career. It's not a smooth career. Oh, by the way, the 10th lord is Sun, so that can show a political career. So there will be some ups and downs in career. So that's the overall thing. But he will be around power because of the strength of the 5th house for much of his life. Now let us look at the dashas. If you look at the dasamsha, no conditional dasha applies, and Vimshwate dasha is the best. And you see that Saturn, even though you may think that he is in 3rd house, he is actually in the 4th house. So being in a quadrant in one sign, Tara dasha applies. So use the Tara dasha from Saturn. Tara dasha using Saturn as the seed. So you see that Venus is a very normal dasha, but Sun dasha, I'm not sure if he had any career before he joined politics, but Sun dasha, he started his political career towards the end of Venus dasha, but it was really in Sun dasha that his political career blossomed. And Sun, you can see, is the 10th lord of career, and he is in the 3rd house. So he is actually in a friendly sign. He is in Adimitra Rasi. Jupiter is the dispositor of Sun. He is in 4th. So he is in an Adimitra Rasi in the 3rd house and the 10th lord. So being very bold in career, etc. is shown. So this is a very good dasha for him. And Moon dasha was running from 2008 to 2018, and he was actually the chief minister of his state in Moon dasha. And you can see Moon, he is the 9th lord, and Saturn is the 4th and 3rd lord. So there is a Raj Yoga. There is a Raj Yoga between 4th and 9th lord. So Moon can give power. So it was Moon dasha that made him the chief minister, and the Antardasha was that of Jupiter. And you can see that Jupiter is the 5th lord. So and Moon and Jupiter are friends. So that was the dasha when he ascended to chief ministership. And like I said earlier, Moon is the 9th lord. He is afflicted by Saturn. So basically it can also show causing some sorrow to father. So that was the Moon dasha. And towards the end of Moon dasha, he lost power. So it was Moon Venus period. So if you see Venus, he is the 7th lord, but in houses he is in the 8th house. So 7th lord in the 8th is a Marka. So during the Venus Antardasha in 2017 March, he lost power. Yogi Adityanath replaced him as the chief minister of Uttar Pradesh state. And right now, and after that, he started running Mars dasha. This is a pretty good dasha compared to several other dashas. Mars dasha is a pretty good dasha. But the thing is, he is debilitated. But he is in the 9th house. Lagna Lord in the 9th house. So this is overall not a terrible dasha for him, but this is not the best dasha for him. Let's see the Antardasha that is running right now. Election results will be on 2022 March 10th. So it is Mercury Antardasha. So Mercury is the 8th lord afflicting the 10th house. So this is not really a favorable Antardasha. Even taking Mars as Lagna, Mercury is the 3rd and 12th lord. So, and let's look at the longitudes. Yeah, he is in the 1st house. So he is the 3rd and 12th lord afflicting Mars. So this is not really a nice Raj Yoga or anything. This is actually a bad yoga. So right now Antardasha is not favorable for him to win. Let us look at the Tajika chart. Let's quickly check the past. 2011, because in 2012 March he became the chief minister of his state, Uttar Pradesh state. So if you see this chart, you will see that in the Dashamsa, Lagna Lord Saturn is with the 9th Lord Mercury, and they are together in the 5th house of power. Even though the 5th Lord is in Manakarka Sthana, basically there is a Parivartana, so they act as though they are in one signs. So there is a very powerful Rajayoga in the 5th house of power, so that is a good thing. And also 3rd house of initiative has Mars and Ketu. So he took a bold initiative and he became the chief minister during this year. Let's quickly check the Tithi Pravesh chart also. If you see the Tithi Pravesh chart, in this chart, The fifth lord of power, Saturn, he's in the house-wise, he's in the 10th house. And the 10th lord and Lagna lord Mercury is opposite him. So there is a Rajoga between Mercury and Saturn, Lagna lord and 5th lord. So there is some positive indications here also. But Tajika chart is even stronger. Let us look at the 2016 Tithi Pravesh chart when he lost power. In March 2017, he lost elections and Yogi Adityanath replaced him as the Chief Minister of Uttar Pradesh state. So if you see the 2016 Tithi Pravesh chart, you will see that the 5th Lord Venus is in a friendly in a neutral sign actually. 5th Lord Venus is in a neutral sign. Lagna contains Maraka Rahu. First house contains Maraka Rahu, and Lagna Lord Saturn, he is exalted but he is in the 9th house and he is afflicted by Jupiter, 3rd and 12th Lord, which is a Duryoga. It's not a Rajoga, it is a Duryoga. And the 6th house is very strong. Badaka Lord as well as 6th Lord are together in the 6th house. So that is good for enemies. 6th house being strong shows strong enemies. So he was replaced by a strong enemy. 5th Lord is not that strong, whereas 6th house is pretty strong. So there are negative indications in this year. Let's check the Tajika chart also. So if you see the Tajika chart, the positive thing is the 5th Lord Mars is in the 9th house. So he is strong, but he is also afflicted by Ketu, who shows giving up or depletion or loss, and he is also the 12th lord of loss. So Mars is afflicted by Ketu, and the Lagna contains Mercury and Venus. I mean, longitude wise, I'm talking about the Bhava Chakra here. Sign wise, Sun and Venus are in Lagna, but the conjunction of 6th Lord and 7th Lord, 6th and 11th Lord and 7th and 10th Lord, this is not really a Rajoga, this is a Duryoga. So there is a Duryoga in Lagna, and the 8th Lord Moon is in the 8th house. So that is, 8th house is very strong, and that's not really good for continuing the political power that one has. So there are enough indications of losing political power. Moreover, the 9th Lord Sun, he is actually he is fine. He is in the 2nd house, which is nothing. It's neither positive nor negative. But there are enough negatives here. Let us look at the current year, 2021 Tajika chart, to see if he can win. And if you see the 5th house, 5th Lord Sun is very strong. 5th Lord Sun is in an Adimitra Rasi in the 9th house. So he is pretty strong. But the negative thing is Mars, the Lagna Lord, is in the 8th house. He is in an inimical sign. He is in Libra, which is an inimical sign, and house-wise he is in the 8th house. So Lagna Lord in an inimical sign in the 8th house is not good overall. And 5th Lord, though 5th Lord is strong, 5th house itself is afflicted by Badaka Lord Rahu and 6th Lord Mercury. So that's not really good again. And the 9th Lord Jupiter, he is with the 7th Lord Venus. Actually, there is distance between them. So Venus is in Sun sign. So let's look at the longitudes. Venus is at 24 Leo. Jupiter is okay. There is plenty of distance, 13 degrees. So it's not really. There's no yoga between 7th and 9th Lord. The 9th Lord of Fortune, Jupiter, is in the 6th house, which is not really a good placement for Jupiter. So overall, this is not terrible, but this is not really a very strong chart to become Chief Minister. So at best, he will win his MLA seat, and he will be the main opposition leader, but it doesn't suggest becoming the Chief Minister again. Let us confirm it with the Tithi Pravesh chart also. Again, very similar chart, so I don't want to go through it again. And actually here the 5th Lord Sun, even though he's in an Admitra Rasi, he happens to be in the 8th house. So he's not that strong. So 5th house is not that strong. And the 5th house is containing the 9th Lord Jupiter, that is positive, but also he is afflicted by 3rd and 6th Lord Mercury. So and Badhaka Lord Saturn is aspecting them from the Badhaka house. So there are enough negatives here, but there are some positives also, like Jupiter being in the 5th house. So overall, he won't fall completely flat. He will be a formidable opponent, but I don't expect that he will actually become the chief minister. So I don't see a danger to Yogi ji. But let us revisit Yogi ji's chart and confirm it. So let us see the dasas first. I believe in his chart, Tara Dasha applies in the natal chart from Jupiter. Jupiter as the seed. Yeah, that is right. So it was during the Sun Dasha, he was in politics, and Moon Dasha was a really good Dasha in 2017. It started in November 2016, and in 2017 March he became the chief minister of his state. And Moon, he is the Lagna Lord, conjoining the 5th and 10th Lord Mars. There is a powerful Rajoga between exalted Moon and Mars. So Moon Dasha was a very good Dasha for him. And of course, we discussed earlier that Mars Dasha. Mars is the Yokarka. So that Dasha will come in 2016 November. So I expect that for much of this period he will be the Prime Minister of India. But let us look at the current Antardasha. Within Moon Dasha, the Antardasha running right now is that of Saturn. And Saturn, he is the 7th and 8th Lord in the 2nd house. He is actually a Marka. So this is not really a good Antardasha for him. So, but the thing is, taking Moon as Lagna, he is the Yokarka in the 4th house. So it is a mixed period. So there will be some tensions. It won't be smooth, but there are indications compared to the other chart. There are better indications. But let us confirm that with the annual chart. So let us look at the 2021 Tajika chart, because the election results will be on March 10th. So if you see this chart, you will see that the 5th Lagna is Aquarius, and the Lagna Lord Saturn is in the 12th house, and the 5th Lord Mercury, he is in own sign, and house-wise he is in the 6th house, but he is in own sign. 5th Lord is in own sign, and the Yokarka Venus, he is in the 5th house. So that is a blessing. Yokarka Venus being in the 5th house, he is strong. And secondly, the 10th house is containing the 10th Lord. 10th Lord Mars is in the 10th house. So 10th house is also very strong apart from the 5th house. So there are some worries like the 5th Lord being in the 6th house, but overall this is more positive than the other chart that we saw. And let us look at the 2021 Tithi Pravesh chart. We looked at the Tajika chart earlier. So if you see this chart, Lagna contains Lagna Lord. So Lagna is very strong. 9th Lord is in own sign, Saturn. So fortune is very powerful. And the 5th house is aspected by the 5th Lord Mercury. He is afflicted by Jupiter, 11th and 8th Lord, but the 5th Lord is aspecting the 5th house, and there is decent amount of distance between them. And Jupiter is also the 11th Lord, so he acts more as the 11th Lord being in one sign here. So 11th Lord and 5th Lord in 11th house aspecting 5th is not bad. So 5th house is strong, but Lagna and 9th house are really strong. Moreover, Saturn is also the 10th Lord. So 10th Lord in one sign is also good. So this is a really powerful chart. So Tithi Pravesh of current year is very strong. Tajika is strong with some qualifications. And but the thing is, overall these charts are much stronger than Sri Akhilesh Singh Yadavji's natal dashas as well as his current annual charts, solar and lunar charts. So overall, so based on all these factors, my assessment is that I know that a lot of people ask me, even though I predicted earlier that Yogi ji will be re-elected as the chief minister, but will not finish this term and move to Delhi in this term and also become prime minister. People were worried because of some recent developments, like there were some defections of some powerful political leaders from his party to Akhilesh Singh Yadavji's party. So people were concerned and asked me, is Yogi ji going to win? My assessment, my final assessment is that when election results are declared next month, Yogi Adityanath will be re-elected as the chief minister. But Akhilesh Singh Yadav ji will have a formidable performance, and he will be he will not fall completely flat, but he won't become the next chief minister. It will be Yogi ji. So that is my final assessment. Yeah, I think that's all I wanted to say. On that note, I will end. Thank you very much. Om Tat Sat. Sarvam Sri Krishnarpanamastu. Loka Samasta Sukhino Bhavantu. Sarve Jana Sukhino Bhavantu. Yavad Bhumandale Sanatana Dharmo Vardhatu. Visheshatah Bhartakhande Amerika Varshe Tibet Rashtre Cha. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.